What's going on, guys? Welcome back. One more notch in the old belt on the way to nationals. This week went pretty well for the most part. Equipped squats Monday, worked up to two of my singles rather. We're at 335 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds, but first one was about a 9. Kind of got thrown around by the suit, so I got pushed forward a little bit, didn't sit back, so my depth wasn't as good as it should have been. And I also didn't have a whole lot of pop out of the bottom because I wasn't sitting into the suit properly. My second single at 335 went a lot better. My depth was better. I had a lot more speed out of the bottom, and that was really, really good. My rotator cuff's still kind of on the mend from that really great day really great bench day in Winnipeg that somehow messed it up. But hit 220 at about an 8 to I think a 1.5 board in my shirt on Monday. So again, was really happy about that. Came in for raw deadlift day Tuesday, worked up to 345 kilos, which is a weight that I think I dropped in Winnipeg in my suit the weekend before. So I was really happy to be able to hold on to that and move nice and smooth. Held it for a little bit even after the set. And then pulled 3 triples at I think 307.5. Thursday came in and did my raw squat, raw bench. Raw squat went terribly. I was kind of all over the place, couldn't catch my groove. My very last set was probably the best one, but my top set at 255 for a triple was just garbage. I didn't even post it on Instagram. I was actually embarrassed by how badly my body moved. You can see my knees kind of caving all over the place, and my body's tilting forward. My hips are off center on the descent. Like, it just was not my day for raw squatting. So that sucked. Then did my raw competition bench, and that's getting back up to about 90-95% of where I should be. And Friday was equipped deadlifts, which went really well up till I dropped 355. My hands, I think, were still a little bit beat up from Tuesday. I don't want to make excuses, but things are moving in the right direction. I pulled 350 and held 350, no problem. And then I used straps for my 355 after I missed it with my bare hands. And then pulled 310 for 5. And on my last rep of 310 for 5, I held it for about 10 seconds as a sort of atonement for dropping that 355. So grip isn't quite where I want it, but I'm also training it heavy and hard twice a week right now. Probably going to use straps my last week into nationals just to make sure the grip's there for the competition. So this week will be a true test of whether or not, this coming week will be a true test of whether or not the grip's going to be there for nationals, and I think that it will be. We got some of our samples for the new Apparel. So we got this kick-ass little camo hat. We got some 3/4 length shirts. I actually have one on underneath here. I'll show you guys that in a sec. We got a whole bunch of other hats, all kinds of cool shit coming at you just after nationals, so stay tuned. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram. It's at Calgary Barbell. I've been posting some sneak peeks and previews of the apparel there. Follow Dylan at Dylan Yuckavuts, and he'll put that in the description because it does not sound like it is spelled. So that's it for that on the apparel. We're gonna move on to the question of the day today. So the question of the day today, again, is gonna sort of lead into a bigger topic I wanna talk about. But the question of the day is gonna be from JC. He's wondering if I have any advice for somebody getting into their first pair of knee wraps. He wants to use them to overload his squat, and he's been looking at some Titan wraps, but he's not sure what to go with out of their range, if he should start with something more stretchy or a little bit stiffer. So this is gonna kind of lead into a little bit of a general primer. We'll talk a little bit more about this in some future videos, something I really, really wanna do, but just sort of a beginner's guide to equipment and sort of how to get into that. I feel like there's not a lot of good content or good information out there. I spent a lot of time scouring the internet, scouring forums and looking around YouTube for videos on how to size your stuff and how to get into it and where to start and that kind of stuff. And it can be tough to figure out. To start with, for knee wraps and get right to the heart of your question, JC, I think the most important thing is whether or not you're gonna be wrapping yourself or having somebody wrap you. So if you're wrapping yourself, I recommend you go with the Gold Signatures or Signature Golds from Titan. They're a lot stiffer, a lot thicker wrap, and they require a lot less stretch to get the same amount of rebound out of the bottom because they're so thick. So there's a lot more material to stretch and sort of store the elastic energy. Whereas if you get a stretchier wrap, it needs to be stretched more because it needs to stretch to a certain point for you to get as much material laid down on the knee as you want and to get as much carryover out of the bottom as you might be looking for. So that's the first thing about knee wraps. As far as suits go, there's a couple different options. What I use is I use a Titan Super Centurion, size 46, and that is true to measurement fit. So I got that, was able to use it right away, didn't have any issues with it. Although I recommend if it's your first time in gear, maybe try something a little bit bigger, maybe one size bigger. And there's size charts, where to measure and all that kind of stuff on any of the websites that sell equipment. The next thing I'm gonna talk about a little bit is bench shirts. Now that's something that I'm sure if anybody's been following the channel for any period of time, you've seen me struggle with this forever. So some general rules for bench shirts. If you have really long arms, think about getting a bigger chest plate. We just got Dylan a shirt, measured, sized up 1 or 2 sizes, and it's gonna be a long time before he can get anything close to a touch in that shirt because we didn't take into account the fact that his arms are 6 feet long because he's a mutant. So if you have really long arms, you're gonna wanna size up a couple extra sizes in your chest plate. He's probably gonna end up using a 52 and his chest measurement is a 46. The thing with that though is if you're gonna get something with a big chest plate, you're probably gonna have loose sleeves. Now what I've found most beneficial is to have a relatively, I'd say like a moderately tight chest plate, but quite tight in the sleeves. So what I'm using right now is I'm using a size 50. My measurement around the chest is, what was it, 49? Yeah, it was about 49 and a half. So I'm using the size 50, pretty much true to measurement in the chest plate, but I got the sleeves taken in 3/4 of an inch. So quite a bit. I'm not sure what my arm measurement is now. You guys will have to wait to find out at the end of the arms race. But so yeah, tight sleeves, looser chest plate, good place to start. The other thing you're looking at with those shirts is you're looking at the collar height. So you can get a regular cut Super Katana, which is gonna have a collar here, and a low cut Super Katana where the collar is gonna be much lower. Now if you're a belly bencher or somebody that can touch their bench really low, a lower cut shirt or something pulled down a little bit more is going to be easier easier by you. So I'm working with a guy right now, Cam McDermott, shout outs, what's up? He is going to be getting into a bench shirt, and I think down the road he's going to be very good in a low cut shirt because of how he bench presses. He's got a pretty low touch. He's got, you know, average sized arms, and he's a big guy, so he can limit his range of motion, which is a good thing in a bench shirt. Now the last thing I'm going to talk about is deadlift suits. So you want something that's relatively tight in the hips, but I think for a beginner, if the straps are too tight, that can be really, really tough because what it's gonna do is it's gonna essentially pull you to curl up. You're gonna have to work really, really hard to extend it. If you have the problem of curling or losing your back position already, a deadlift suit can make that worse. So make sure that you have enough room in your straps by going a size or 2 up sometimes in your deadlift suit. Again, I ordered mine true to size, true to measurement, and it works just fine. But I think it'll be a long time before I get the straps taken in on that. And that's another topic to get into. We'll maybe cover that another time, is how to modify the equipment. But for now, stiffer wrap if you're wrapping yourself, stretchier wrap if you have somebody to wrap you. Squat suit, we can usually go true to measurement. Bench shirt, size up, big chest plate, small sleeves. Deadlift suit, size to measurement or maybe a little bit bigger, and make sure those straps aren't too tight and don't take them in too early. That's a lot of information, but I hope you guys find that valuable. If you don't lift equipped and you think it's stupid, then I apologize for, no, I don't apologize for that. But anyways, that's it for the video today, guys. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Sorry this video is a little bit late. We had some time constraints and some computer issues, and we have a lot of excuses if you guys want to hear them. Basically, the video is just gonna be a little bit late, so we apologize for that. Like, subscribe, comment, stay tuned. We got one more of these bad boys, then we're gonna be heading into Nationals and doing some vlogging next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Hit that sub button and stay up to date with us. Thanks, bye-bye.